Hi, this is Phyllis, and welcome back again to my channel. Today's project is going to be this tester collar necklace, and we're calling it the tester because I'm using my white to test out the 2026 color of the year, the Cloud Dancer, which is basically white. So, what do you think? I like it. I hope you do too. And if you'd like to learn how to make it, stay tuned for my materials list and we will get started. The materials for the project are this multi-strand of beads here. These are 6mm pearls, 8mm pearls, and 4x6mm rondelles. And then this strand has 10mm, 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm pearls. And so we're going to use a combination of these size pearls. Then we're going to use some size 11 seed beads. The color that I'm using is Matte Bright Sterling Plated, and they are my Yuki brand. For my tools and findings, I'm using stainless steel, my 13x9" swivel bottom lobster claw, my 4x6mm oval jump rings, and these are stainless steel. I'm using two of those. I'm using my stainless steel wire guardians. I'll be using two of them, and my 9x5mm stainless steel jump rings. I'm using two needles. These are size 10 color eyes because I'm going to do two needle right angle weave. I've got my pliers for the jump rings, my scissors, my bead board, and I forgot my 6-pound fire line in the crystal color. Stay tuned and we will get started. To begin, we are going to make the center of our necklace first. And when we finish constructing the center of the necklace, then we will do the length. I have cut my beads off of a strand and of 6/8 and rondelles. And I threaded my thread, 4 feet of my thread on the two needles, and I have left even tails. I'm going to begin by stringing on a rondelle, and I'm going to surround that rondelle with 3 seed beads each. And then on one of your needles, you're going to string on a 6mm. On the other, you're going to, a 6mm and 2 more seed beads. And the other needle, you're going to string on an 8mm and 2 seed beads. You're going to allow these to fall down into the center of the thread, and with either needle, string on a seed bead, a rondelle, and a seed bead. You're going to pull these off the needle, and you are going to take your other needle and you're going to pass that needle cross through the seed bead, rondelle, and seed bead. You're going to even up your threads or your needles, however you want to do it, and you're going to pull these beads into the center of the thread so that you have even thread on both sides. And this is the beginning of our necklace. It's 4-point right angle weave, and we're going to practice this. We're going to do a 6mm pearl on one side and an 8mm pearl on the other side. And this is a repetitive process until we complete the center of our project. So now that my 6mm pearls are on the left, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to string on 2 of my seed beads, a 6mm, and 2 more seed beads. That's the progression. On my other needle, which is my right, I'm stringing on 2 seed beads, an 8mm, and 2 more seed beads. I'm going to let these drop down, and then on either needle you string on a seed bead, a rondelle, and a seed bead. Pull these off your needle and cross your needle, your other needle, going the opposite way into these 3 beads, and pull your thread. See what we have? See how we're doing this? You got the picture? On the side with your 6mm, you string on 2 seed beads, a 6mm, 2 seed beads. On the other needle, you string on 2 seed beads, an 8mm, and 2 seed beads. Let these fall off your needle. Let them come down to the sides of by your work. On either needle, you string on a seed bead, a rondelle, and a seed bead. Pull these off of your needle and cross the thread. And this is going to be the repeat until you finish your thread, or you decide that what length of the center of the necklace that will go right around your neck. This will be, because this is a collar, you know, you could even do this all the way around your neck if you want. I'm just doing this for the center. I'm going to go from ear to ear in the center of my neck, and that's going to be the length of this middle piece, and then I'm going to add length on both sides when I'm done with the center piece. So you keep doing this, and I'll see you when I'm done. So I'm about to add my final rondelle. As you can see, I have my my length here, and I have taken the liberty of stringing on 2 seed beads and a 6mm, and 2 seed beads and an 8mm. But do you remember at the beginning I strung on the rondelle and 3 seed beads on either side of it? That's what I'm going to do now. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to string on 3 seed beads on my left thread, and I'm going to string 3 seed beads and the rondelle on my right thread. And what I'm going to do is tie these threads right here, these 2, so that I have what I'm looking for. I'm just going to do 2 knots. And my second knot. So sorry. When I do the loop on the second time, I go through it twice. And I'm going to just pull my knot right there. What I am going to do now is I'm going to pass my left thread into the rondelle and these 3 seed beads here. Looking a little blurry. Well, let's first go through the rondelle. Okay, I got 1 seed bead and these 3 seed beads, and let's keep going through the pearl. Once we get there, we will just hang out, and we'll come through, take the other needle, and we're gonna continue passing through these 3 seed beads the pearl here. Yep, that's all right, just to get that other seed bead. And let's keep going here through this rondelle here, and let's meet up with the thread that we have hanging out here at this 8mm pearl, and we'll pass the needle in there to meet up with our next thread, and we'll tie another knot right there. Pull tightly, but not too tight so as to clog up the that top rondelle with the knot that we made up there. And so this is where we are. I have done my length, and as you can see, it's got a slight curve. It's got a slight curve on it, and that's fine because this is a collar necklace. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run my threads around a little bit and then trim them off. And I'll get another piece of thread, and we will start working on the length after I trim these off. So I think we need to add tape measure to our materials list, because I measured my neck, and my neck is 15¼ inches around, and so now measuring my centerpiece, it is roughly 10¾ inches. That means I need 4¼ inches to complete this, including my clasping. So, and my plans have changed because I was going to use the 4mm pearls, but I have so many of these rondelles left over from so on this strand, this package with the rondelles, I used 2 full strands and 2/3 of the 3rd strand. So these are all the rondelles that are left, and I've got a few of the 6mm, and I'm just going to go over here to this strand that is only pearls, and I'm going to cut off some of the 6mm pearls, and that's what I'm going to use to complete my length. So I'm going to let me get that taken care of, and I'm going to thread my needle with 24 inches of thread. This is about 24, no, this is a yard. So yeah, I'm not going to need that much, but this, because I already cut it, that's what I'm going to use, and I'm still going to use my 2 needles. So let's get this done, and when I come back, I'll show you where we're going to start. How I'm going to begin this is I'm going to take either side of my work, and I'm going to pass my needle into the seed bead, rondelle and seed bead, and I'm going to pull the thread into the center. Yes, we are still doing the 2 needle technique, and we're just going to finish it off with some right angle weave and the clasping. So I'm using my 6mm pearls on each thread. String on a 6mm pearl, and on either thread string on a rondelle, and cross my needle into that rondelle. Put these, because this is the first one, put the needles together and pull down and even up your threads. And now that I'm looking at that, yes, I like it. That we're going to keep going. String on a 6mm on each needle, let them fall, and then on either needle string on your rondelle and cross the needle into the rondelle. And we're going to do this until you have the length that you want. It's not going to be that much because we still have to put our clasping on. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that sometimes I do both sides at the same time so that I can make sure that my length is right. So if you hang out with me just for a minute, I'm just going to do that to the other side because I don't want this to be too long. I want this to fit properly as a collar length necklace. Be right back. I have added 5 regular right angle weave units to both sides of my collar, and I'm going to continue now and show you how I'm going to add my clasping, which is a simple thing. Normally I would use my wire guardians and put my my clasping on right onto my lobster claw, but today I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my oval jump rings to attach my lobster claw to my wire guardian, and I'm going to do that on both sides just as a precautionary measure. If something should happen, I don't want to do the work of putting this all together again. I would just have to do something with my clasping. So I'm going to string on 2 of my size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to pass my needle into one side of my wire guardian and I'm going to continue passing my thread into the second hole of the wire guardian. Pull my thread down and just let it hang out right there. I still have this other thread, my left thread. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to string on 2 of my size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to run my needle into this side of the wire guardian and around the groove and into the second side of the wire guardian. I'm trying to stay focused. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in frame while I show you this because it can get a little tangled up with the 2 threads. So as I suspected, we are dealing with just a slight bit of entanglement. However, this is what we want. So using the 2 needle method, we have 2 threads already in the wire guardian, and I've got one exiting this way and the other one exiting out of the other hole. I'm going to just take my needle that's in my right hand, and I'm going to continue passing it right here into these 2 size 11O seed beads, and I'm going to pull that down. Just let it hang out for a second and get my other needle and do the same thing. Pass right into those 2 size 11O seed beads on this side. Now, we should have less entanglement because the threads are on opposite sides. However, we do have some loosening of the unit, which is okay because I'm going to take my right thread and I'm going to pass it into this rondelle right here so we can meet up with the thread on the other side. And just like we did when I tied off down here, I'm going to tie my threads, taking note that my right thread is now over here in my left hand, and I'm going to make sure it stays that way. So I'm going to tie a knot, pass my needle right into that loop that I pulled up, and pull that tightly, and boy do I mean tightly. And remember, we're still taking note that the right thread is in my left hand, and I'm going to tie another knot and this time when I go through the loop, I'm going to go through it twice. And pull down. Okay, that's really tight. Now remember, this thread over here in my left hand is my right thread, so I need to pass my left thread, which is here on my other side, cross it into this rondelle going this way. Now my left thread is over here on this side, and I'm going to move my right needle. I know it could be confusing, but this is what I have to do to help me remember what I'm doing. Move my right needle through this purl and this rondelle, and this purl. My units are still loose, but that is okay because now I have met up with my other thread, and I'm going to tie a knot the same way. This time I don't even need to take note of which is which, because I just wanted to make sure that when I first did it, that I had the proper threads going through the proper beads. So I'm just tying my knot right here, and that's where we're going to be hanging out, just like this. We're tied off on both sides, and it doesn't even matter, I can take my needles, both of them at the same time if they would fit, and just run them down this way. And of course we have thread entanglement, because it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't. And take the other one and just go down and just keep moving through. Just keep moving through, because we don't want to cut this thread where we made our knots. And also we just want to make sure that we tighten up these units just a little bit, because they came loose when I was putting on the clasping. But all I'm going to do is just run these down and just tighten up my units a little bit, because now is not the time to have looseness, okay? And of course I tangled them up again. It's okay, because they can be untangled. But you get the gist what I'm doing here. I'm just going around to make sure that, all right, now we are untangled. Just making sure that I tighten my units up, and when I get down through a few beads, I'm just going to tie a couple more knots and trim off the thread. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but of course when I do it on this side, I'll be putting on I'll be doing the same thing with my wire guardian, and then when I come back I'll show you how I'm going to put my clasping on. So I have completed adding my wire guardians to both ends. I have reinforced all of my beadwork in my 5 units that I added. See, there's no more loose thread. And the only thing I have left to do now is add my clasping. So with that, I'm going to oh boy. I'm going to get my oval jump ring. And I'm going to take my 2 sets of pliers and I'm going to put them side by side like this over the opening, and I'm going to twist just until it opens. And this is what I have. It's a little cumbersome, but it's open. You see, I didn't pull it apart because pulling apart the jump ring will weaken the integrity, the strength of your jump ring, and you don't want to do that. But with this side, I'm going to string on my piece at the wire guardian, and I'm just going to take my lobster claw and add it there, and holding on, I'm going to grab my other wire pliers and I'm going to twist this back. Oh, come on. Well, I'm sorry about that blurriness. The only thing I did though, the only thing I did here was to twist my oval jump ring back into place. And I suppose that my camera doesn't like the stainless steel on the gray, but as you can see, I have just a tiny bit open still, and the only thing I'm going to do is just take my pliers and just wiggle it back closed as much as possible till you can't really see the opening there. And that's it. That is it. And so now this side of my clasp is on, and the reason I like using this swivel bottom is because you don't have to worry about whether you got this going the right way because the swivel bottom will help you out all day. And the same thing on this side. I'm going to grab my oval jump ring and place that pair of pliers right there at the opening and get the other pair of pliers. Let's see if this helps to move my, and just twist. Twist until it's open, and it has to be open enough for you to fit it through where you need it to go, and my big jump ring. And I can still put an extender on here if I have to, but this fits me. Oh, I didn't open it up enough. Well, of course, when you're recording, that happens, right? Okay, that's open enough. I'm going to pass it through this wire guardian, and then my big jump ring, I'm just going to pass that right through, get my other pair of pliers, and twist it back. And that is perfect. It's right there. So now we have it. It's just my collar necklace that we have done. Actually, this, I think I'm just going to call it my my tester necklace, because I used the white because of the 2026 color of the year is the Cloud Dancer, the white. And I think that I'm going to try to make a series of fabulous projects with white beads and stones and things like that as we're coming up. But this is the tester necklace, and I think we made this one pretty nicely. I hope you think so too, and I'd like to thank you for hanging out with me, and see you next time.